about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
This is a city, Guys, Tennessee. There's 3 stories in this city, and this is one of them. Peatie Plunk, obviously one of the most underrated deputies that BUFORD PUSSER had. It's time for another Saturday Short, so stay with me. Through the years, there have been many famous law enforcement officers. For instance, there's Hazard County's Roscoe P. Coltrane, Mayberry's Barney Fife, and Police Squad's Lieutenant Frank Drebin. And today, we add another one to the annals, Peatie Plunk. Now, a lot of people don't understand that Peatie was the person that helped BUFORD more than any other deputy, even more so than Jim Moffitt, his chief deputy. Now, how could this be, you ask? Well, let's start with the time that they went down to the state line to arrest Louise Hathcock. It was Peatie Plunk who told Sheriff Pusser to strap on his gun. Now, I know that a lot of people say that it was Jim Moffitt, and in this report from the Tennessean, dated Saturday, August 19th, 1967, Carl Pusser, the sheriff's father, took credit for that. But no, listen as Peatie Plunk tells his own story.
We were driving along, and I said, "Buford, since we're going down there, you better put your pistol on." He didn't have his pistol on. And the way he said it might be a bad idea, he stopped on the side of the road out there and put his pistol on. Buckled his gun on.
After listening to this video, I'm sure that you understand now that it was Peatie Plunk and his actions that probably saved Sheriff Pusser's life that day when he suggested that he strap on a gun. Now listen as Deputy Plunk steps forward and takes over command of the situation at the Shamrock and the questioning of Louise Hathcock. Even though the sheriff is there, the chief deputy is there, it is Peatie Plunk that steps out and takes control.
And walked into the office of the motel. Used the exact words that she said. "What in the hell are y'all doing down here?" And I tried to tell her what we was doing down there, that we were looking for this lady's purse. The lady lost her purse in the motel that night. I said, "I don't know nothing about no purse." No, I said, "There's no car." I said, "Ain't nobody stole no car." I said, "Louise, we're not hunting a damn car, we're hunting a purse." I said, "That's what they do, they're all the time talking like that." Jim Moffitt sitting over on his couch. I guess he must have smiled. I wasn't looking at Jim. She said, "Wipe that smile off your face." And I guess Jim did, undoubtedly. She didn't slap him. But she said, "Sheriff, I want to speak to you a minute."
Now, as Chief Deputy, Jim Moffitt wipes a smile off of his face. It's Peatie Plunk who again takes command, allowing his apprentice, Sheriff BUFORD Pusser, in a moment of training, to go into Louise Hathcock's room alone.
So Buford proceeded to follow her out of the office into number 1 cabin, which was her living quarters. And as he got inside of the door, of the #1 cabin. She had on a sweater with pockets in it. And she had this little snub-nosed 38 in there. And she come out with that 38 and said, I'm going to kill you.
Fortunately for Sheriff Pusser, Peatie Plunk had taught him the escape and survival techniques that he needed to survive a shooting incident. Listen as Plunk explains.
And she wheeled with the gun, Buford seen her, and he fell across the bed just as she fired. And then from the looks of it, she had fired at the big part of him, which was his chest. And as he went down, it put his head where his chest would normally have been, and I'd say she missed his head approximately 4 inches. The bullet went out the window into the post that holds the shed up in front of the office.
Be sure and hit that subscribe button for notifications of future videos, and be sure and leave your comments at the end of this video. Listen as Deputy Plunk explains how he used all the training and expertise that he gained at the McNairy County School of Law Enforcement and Forensic Sciences to remove that projectile from that post.
And unless they put a new post there, and I doubt it, you'll see a chip chopped out of there now. It's where I took a hatchet and cut the bullet out of the post that she had fired it in.
Now listen as Deputy Plunk describes Buford's first 2 shots that he took at Louise Hathcock.
But as he went down and she fired, he come out with his .41 Magnum. He fired. The first shot, he hit her on the left side of the neck and cut a trench across her neck and shoulder. And he spun her around. And as she spun around, she still had the gun in firing position to fire again. The next shot hit her in the right breast and come out of her back. And you can stick a doorknob in her back where the bullet come out.
Now, Deputy Plunk's description of the shooting and the second wound shows that the team that did the autopsy on Louise Hathcock in Memphis got it all wrong, as they said that the exit wound was under her right breast. Plunk clearly stated that that was an entry wound, that the exit wound was in her back, and it was big enough to stick a doorknob in. Now listen as Plunk describes Buford's third and final shot to the head.
She hit the floor, hit a chair, turned the chair over, hit the floor on her back, and she raised the gun up again. The next shot, he caught her in the left jaw, underneath her jawbone, and come out the back of her head. Carried one of her jaw teeth about 12 inches behind her head, out through her head there. She still blowed blood bubbles after her, I'd say. Of course, I was scared. Hell, I don't know, it might have been hours long, but I'd say roughly 3 or 4 minutes before she died. Well,
we assume at this point that Deputy Plunk took the bullet out of his pocket, loaded his gun, and I'll allow him to tell what he did at that point.
When I got to Buford, when I heard the shots, I run to him with my pistol in my hand. You could tell by the looks of his eyes, of course. I don't know whether he was scared or excited or what, but his eyes was red around him a little bit, you know.
Now listen as Deputy Plunk describes how he detained an ear witness to the shooting, Howard Carroll.
He told me, he says, catch the back door. So we knew it was somebody in the back room because we heard her talking to him. See? He told me to catch the back door and told Jim Moffett to call the sheriff's office.
Now Plunk tells us about overcoming fear and being able to handle the situation that he expected to come.
And I don't know, Jim said he wasn't scared, but I was scared. Knowing the reputation and the kind of characters that hung out at the place, I figured we would have to shoot our way out. And I still say, if that bunch had been there, we would have had to shoot our way out of it.
Now listen as Deputy Plunk describes Louise Hathcock.
I'd compare with Al Capone. Just soon had Al Capone gun in front of Louise Hathcock.
And there you have it, folks. Peatie Plunk explaining his participation in the shooting death of Louise Hathcock on February 1st, 1966. You know, we've always been led to believe that Buford was the only one really involved in this, that Jim Moffett was standing in the hall. According to W.R. Morris in his book, The 12th of August, Peatie Plunk was outside near the telephone booth. But now we've heard it from Plunk, so now you know. At any rate, putting all joking aside, we'll have another story about the ambush coming up Thursday. So check back in and watch that. And until then, just remember, the truth has no agenda.